Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on yet another edition of the Health Talk on Spectrum Television. It's Saturday, November 18, 2017, and God willing, we are here again today to bring you the best when it comes to your health tips, advice, as well as why not treatments, diagnosis where possible. In today's edition of the program, we have our guest star all the way from Afrima 2017 in Lagos, Nigeria. We shall be disclosing to you one of Cameroonian artists making it big time on the African continent. And of course, we equally have our expert who will be joining us today in talking about our subject of the day. Let's catch our breath. When we come back, we shall be introducing you to our menu, what we have for you this morning. All right. We are on diabetes in women. And I remember the start of this week, we had the International Day where the rest of the world joined in commemoration towards the fight against diabetes, especially in women. That was this year's theme. The concentration this time around was diabetes in women. And so I'm now being joined by someone who has a mastery, an almost complete mastery of what it is to take what it takes definitely to talk about diabetes, especially in women. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Dr. Peter Louis Nzifo, who happens to be the Assistant Secretary General of the Cameroon Medical Council. Give it up for him. Doc, you are very much welcome, and a special good morning.
Philemon, thank you. I'm so pleased to be in this your wonderful and beautiful studio, and it's a pleasure for me to be in this program.
All right, definitely we have our crowd, our audience. We shall be taking a tour there when the time comes. But Doc, we have very limited time. Let's talk about diabetes in general and then in women. This is a common view. Diabetes, when we eat sugar, we drink sugar, and then there's excess in the body mechanism can no longer convert the excess sugar into energy, and that becomes a problem. Maybe in medical terms, can you shed more light on the definition of diabetes? Who is a diabetic?
Anyway, diabetes generally is a term that is used, to define, to describe, the chronic raised level of blood sugar. What do we mean by this? We mean that, you have sugar. Glucose is a good, energy source, for the body. For this glucose to actually, carry out its function, this glucose, you need to eat. So when you eat all carbohydrate food, it is digested and, it's broken down into glucose. And so this glucose is transported through your blood to the cells that need it. It doesn't just go like that. You have a hormone, which is a chemical substance which is produced by an organ in your abdomen that is called the pancreas, which is called insulin. Insulin is the main carrier of glucose. So it carries this glucose and takes it to your various cells. And then when it goes to those cells, it has to penetrate the cells. And from then now you can be able to have energy. So how can you be able to have diabetes? There are several types of diabetes. But then we talk about mainly like two types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, which is called the insulin-dependent diabetes, or the type 2 diabetes, which is the non-insulin-dependent diabetes. Or like what we were talking about women, there's a special form for women, which is called gestational diabetes, which is discovered only when women are pregnant. It's been found also that when children are put very early into food, they have a predisposition of developing diabetes than those children who stayed much more longer in breast milk. So that is for type 1. Type 2 it also has, you know, a hereditary component. But then we have a lot of lifestyle choice changes that will also make somebody to be able to have, predispose somebody to be able to have diabetes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that you have a strong family history of diabetes that will make you have diabetes.
Okay.
You have now environmental factors.
Okay.
Environmental factors, all of us know about it. Number one, physical inactivity. Those who don't do sports, you know, have a very strong, very regularly can be able to have diabetes. Obesity. Those who are fat enough, you know, they have a strong predisposition of developing diabetes. Unhealthy diet. Those who eat more of refined sugars, you know, who eat poor vegetable and foods that are very rich in sugar also have a strong predisposition of developing diabetes. Yeah.
All right, Doc, I think let us go now to talk about gestational diabetes, because in the course of my preparation for this program, I had time to stumble upon, just like many Cameroonians, I'm guessing, do not really know that there's a type of diabetes called gestational diabetes, which affects women mostly during pregnancy. And now, from what I found out, when a woman becomes pregnant, the feeding habit changes, hormonal disposition changes, a lot of things change in a pregnant woman's system. Is that what definitely leads to diabetes, gestational diabetes, I should say?
I think at this point we'll talk more generally about diabetes in women, right? Because at one stage it goes together. When we talk about diabetes in women, there are three types of stages in which we can have diabetes in women. Number one, a woman who has diabetes type 1 first, diabetes type 2, or the one that is discovered only when that woman is pregnant, which is called gestational diabetes. Why are we insisting about diabetes in women? One thing you need to know is that 1,099,000 women in the whole world are living with diabetes. And it is actually projected that in the year 2040, this number is going to move up to about 313 million women in the whole world. So you look how important it is. Number two, 2 out of 5 women who have diabetes are of a reproductive age. It means that those who are supposed to deliver, childbearing age. And this represents about 60 million people in the whole world. Diabetes is the 9th leading cause of death in women. And one thing you need to know about diabetes in women is that women who have type 1 diabetes have a 10-fold risk of developing coronary heart disease more than women who don't have. Women who have type 2 diabetes have a very significant risk of having early miscarriages and fetal malformation than women who don't have this
that
thing.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, so that is it. Because you're talking about gestational diabetes, all of this, whether it's type 1 or type 2, when it predisposes a woman, has a very high risk when they are pregnant. So when a woman gets pregnant,
they tend to eat a lot.
They can be pregnant when they are pregnant. When they have a diabetes, it means that they have, diabetes in pregnancy. But then, when a woman gets pregnant, there's a lot of hormones, that comes into your system, and then it destabilizes the whole glucose regulation system. And so you will have a lot of glucose that is in the blood. And in a situation where, you have a lot of, enough insulin to take care of this, that goes. But then if your amount of insulin cannot be able to take care of it, then your blood sugar rises, and it is called gestational diabetes. One thing you need to know there is that even in gestational diabetes, it means that diabetes that comes only during pregnancy, it has been found out that more than 50% of those who have gestational diabetes will go on to develop type 2 diabetes in between 5 to 10 years after they had even put to bed. So, and all of this. The risk of this thing, it's a bit difficult for women who have diabetes, it is, to know. But then the normal symptoms of diabetes, all of us know about it. You drink a lot of water, you pass a lot of urine, you are very tired, you have progressive weight loss.
I mean, those are symptoms of pregnancy which could be mistaken, because those equally could be symptoms of diabetes.
There are actually, yeah, it's true, but there are symptoms of diabetes. But they are peculiar symptoms of diabetes in women that people need to know. Number one, women who have diabetes have significant predisposition to developing infections. Number one, we're talking about vaginal infections, yeast and thrush infections, mouth and vaginal infections. Thrush in the mouth, you see this whitish coat that is in the mouth. You have this reddish, sore vaginal yeast infection. You have abundant granular vaginal discharges, which is because of diabetes. And then, because the vagina is not well lubricated, they have painful sex, which also, will frustrate these women. Number two, people don't know, women also have female sexual dysfunction. Because diabetes is a systemic disease which also affects your nerves, some of these women will not have the sexual drive, sexual appetite. Most of them will not be able to have an orgasm. And because, as I said here, they do not have a sexual drive, and then most of them will have pains when they are having sex. They have a predisposition of developing urinary tract infections. You understand? And generally, when women, the complication when you have diabetes in women is that they usually have very big children. And so you realize that women with diabetes, 1 on 7 deliveries, children born from women with diabetes, will have complications.
Usually through CS.
Okay, that one now, you understand here that because a woman who is diabetic is pregnant, they have significant problems. The children have a very, very high chance of having birth trauma. Most of the children are big. And so, by the time they are pushing down, you have a significant risk of that child having trauma. Most women who have diabetes also face the chances of having a cesarean section operation, just like what you talked about. And then the last of it, diabetes, the children born of diabetic women have a very high chance of going into intensive care. And so generally, diabetes in intensive care. And so,
given that women stand greater chances of developing diabetes, even if it's not hereditary, especially you talked about gestational diabetes and all that, during pregnancy and the dysfunctioning when it comes to the circulation of insulin and, of course, glucose. Is there a way of, preventing that, given the context in Cameroon, most especially and in Africa? When I talk about context, is the degree of poverty, and how can we, in this context, avoid that?
That's Steve, my man. He just stole the show. He just stole the show. But very, very rapidly.
Yeah, that's a bit.
Bad boy, wanna take my heart away. Take my heart away. Come boy now, no be play play. No be play play. He say he wanna see my mama, yeah. But baby, don't you dare.
All right. Thanks for coming. We know how difficult it was for you to get here, but then I should say that I'm so grateful having you, my friend and sister. Yes. Thanks a lot for coming today. Of course, we talked at length. It is women, diabetes in women.
Yes.
Now, as a public figure, let me call you that, as a superstar already, what's your take on that? The idea is a lot of women, especially young women, don't regularly check themselves up.
That's true.
A lot of women don't even know of gestational diabetes.
Yeah.
I can bet you.
I didn't know. I personally didn't know. And I think that, first of all, there's supposed to be a lot of sensitization to young women, because it's not supposed to be when you're, 25, before you know. But if you grow up with the idea from little, and when you grow up, because we take diabetes to be something really far, like, diabetes,
for
50 years.
40s and 50s.
Yeah. But then, if our young boys, girls are sensitized and told from small, like, this thing is real, this can happen to you, this can happen to you. For example, when they told you, if you swallow a coin, something is going to happen to you, children made sure.
Of course, I will believe that.
Yes. we made sure that we don't swallow, or if you swallow a seed, they'll tell you an orange will grow from your head. so with that kind of sensitization, though it's a little bit scary, but it gives some sort of discipline. But we grow up and get the particular idea.
Yeah, and it may be of interest for you to find out that I sampled 10 different ladies prior to the show, and just 2 of them had ever been to the hospital to get their glucose level checked.
Yeah, I have to do mine. Like
you still have to
when
do
I
it.
get out of here.
Oh, you still have to do
This
it.
is scary. It's really
Really
scary.
it is. But then, like the doctor said, I think you are very keen on your diet. You are very keen on exercising.
Yes, of course. Because first of all, I don't want to gain a lot of weight, which is
don't
the
need- you
first
don't need, by the
reason.
way. You don't
And
need.
then secondly, because personally, you're supposed to know what's going on within you. It must not have the big names like cervical cancer and hepatitis. There are many other things. For us women, some diseases or a lot of them are really hard to notice in us. Like if a guy has gonorrhea, he knows. But we don't. If a guy has diabetes, it's easy for them to know. But with women, we just feel, because we have so many things going on in our system,
True.
we just feel like maybe I'm pregnant.
Maybe
Or
it's one
maybe
of the-
this is happening to me. But you
Because-
don't know. This is a symptom to something really serious that you should be attentive to. So please, carry yourself
just like you.
and go to the hospital, like I'm going to do when I leave this place, and do full checkup. I mean, ask the doctor, like, what am I not checking? And then try and do some research. Right now, things are really easy. There's Google. You Google some stuff and find out about your body, like how it works. I Google a lot of things. How do women react when they're pregnant? What happens to them? So it could be you go online, you check on diabetes, you go to the hospital, and just to be on the safe side.
We have a question and answer session, very brief, very simple. And so, si on peut avoir le public, is there anybody without transition though? Anybody born in the month of November? Anybody?
Nope.
Is there somebody? Oh, you're born in
someone.
November? Just give her the microphone, please, quickly. you are
Like,
my
oh
victim.
my God.
You are my victim for the day. So,
Yeah.
your name, please. Vera. What date exactly?
November 13. It passed on Monday, actually.
Oh, it passed on Monday.
Yes, but
Oh.
I'm doing a little celebration today.
Wow.
So
That makes it interesting. All right, Vera, see what's going to happen. Vera, we have 4 questions for you, okay? Just 4 simple questions. And the crowd can help you out in giving the answers. If you give us 3 correct answers out of the 4, you are going home with a big prize. And I'm going to say the prize here and now.
yes.
So,
Yes. So can I
see-
spy?
No, no.
Can I change my date of birth?
I know. As
You want to change your month of birth, Steve? Well, next time. All right, Stefan, see on a prayer. We'll get a countdown clock. All of that is happening under 1 minute.
Oh
So
my
you
God.
have to be very, very careful, and the crowd can support you. Under 1 minute, you have 4 questions and give us 3 answers. Oh, c'est bon. Okay. It starts now. Cardiologist is related to 1, brain, 2, liver, 3, heart, 4, muscle.
Heart,
All right, she says heart.
muscle.
2. What is the color of the human brain? Pink, gray, red, white.
white,
Oh, she says white. Okay. Antibiotics treat infections from virus, bacteria, or fungi.
sorry, can you come again? please?
Antibiotics treat infections from virus, bacteria, or fungi.
Bacteria,
Oh, she says bacteria. And the final question, insulin controls the metabolism of fat, carbohydrate, protein, or none.
carbohydrate,
Oh, she says carbohydrate. Benefit of doubt, you still have 13 seconds. Who is the head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon? Jules Nyonga, Hugo Bros.
Ungo Bros.
Oh! All right, I think our time is up. Voila.
We're sharing the prize.
Voila.
Yeah. As in,
All right. Thank you so much, Marabu. Thank you. Can we have a now? This is it, doctor. You can bear with me. Cardiologist is related to brain, liver, heart, muscle. She said liver.
No, she said hat.
No, say hat.
She said hat.
Yes, say hat.
How do you have to kill this girl's vibe like this?
Well, that's part of the show. So she has one tick.
Okay.
Two more to go. What is the color of the brain, human brain? She said white. If I thought your brain is white, then well,
It's pink.
it's actually pink.
But what
So-
do you mean?
Okay.
It's an answer.
Pink is the new one.
Yeah, well,
Oh, she said pink. No, the actual answer is gray.
yeah.
Gray. Yeah, gray. Brain,
So
human
white
brain,
is
gray.
closed.
You don't need to open and see. I mean, we studied biology. Antibiotics treat infections from virus, bacteria, fungi. She said
Bacteria.
bacteria. 2. One more to go.
Okay.
Insulin controls the metabolism of fat, carbohydrates, protein, none. She said carbohydrate. Actually, the answer is none because insulin
none.
controls sugars.
Sugar.
Because
Glucose.
carbohydrates get
Glucose,
converted to glucose.
She did her homework. She did
What
her
are
homework,
you
right?
talking about?
She did her homework.
Biology.
That's it.
Isn't that true?
And then the miscellaneous question. She said, what did she say? Hugo Bros?
Hugo
His
Bros.
name, Hugo. If Hugo Bros is watching now, maybe you have problems with him. It is Hugo Bros, the Belgian tactician. So I think she has 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5, so she deserves it.
Yes.
Vera, it's your birthday week. Now, STV, right, is sending you on a weekend to Limbe, Lady L Hotel.
What are you talking?
No, you have asked those questions to me. Come on.
So,
Come on.
we want to say a big shout out to the management of STV. That is it. That is what it is to participate on Health Show.
Is she going with
So
someone?
see, I'm coming next time.
Oh, that's her business.
Live.
Oh, my.
That's her business. If
wanna
you're
be
going
your
with someone,
date
that's your
Go
business.
with me. I gave you practically all
But
the
then-
answers.
It stands. Vera is going to Limbe on a weekend trip just for you to decide which weekend you want, and then we relay you. It's Lady L Hotel in Limbe. It's a partner hotel. And of course, we have a package for you. Marabout, si tu peux la donner ça. Voilà. All right. Okay, that one especially is from Health Talk on STV, ladies and gentlemen, and that's how we.
That's how we roll.
That's how we end today's show. It will be thanks for coming, Steve, bro.
Honor.
Thanks for supporting my initiative.
Thank you.
Gogo and all of
Always
you.
be
Doc,
there. Good.
she's a superstar. She's a musician. And then maybe one last question. I don't know if it has ever been asked to you. What are your real names? Everybody knows Ehube.
Oh,
What are
yes,
your real
that's
names?
true.
Tell us. before-
Jennifer Ewube. Ndip.
Jennifer
Ewube.
Ndip. All right.
Is it a question? Just like, in 30 seconds, can she just answer this question? She coming from a Frima, and you're one of the Cameroonians and the rare Africans from another country apart from Nigeria who thrilled Wizkid, Yemi Holiday, and all of them with a performance. How was it performing on the Afrima stage, one of the
It was
biggest markets?
scary. Very scary. Very scary given that it was another country and I didn't rehearse for long. But it came out right. And
Yeah,
I
indeed.
got a lot of...
Yeah, we saw some of your pictures
Yeah.
running on stage. And
Yes.
well, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
God.
Ewube, thanks for coming. Thank you
Thank
guys
you.
all at home. Please
Acapella,
take the rendezvous. Take the rendezvous next week, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. We shall try to be time conscious this time around. What more can I say? Thanks for watching, and have a splendid weekend. Bye bye.
Bye.
Good job.